Hello, Mike. Oh, Mike. One, two. Freedom Fighter Radio coming to you live from the heart of the Great White North, the heart of the true North, strong and free. Hello, Mike. Hello, hello. Okay, folks. Apologies for technical issues here. Couldn't hear the mic a little earlier here. Running a little late, but this is an important episode that we're gonna have. Folks, share. Come on in. We're about to start the show. This is Freedom Fighter Radio on a Tuesday night. Our special guest tonight is Pastor Artur Pawlowski. He is the next Premier of Alberta, the Lion of Poland, the Lion of Canada, the leader of the Pride of Lions to win our country back from tyranny. Just getting all set up here, folks. So share. Invite your friends. Pastor Art, I see you on the backstage. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for guesting tonight. It's a very important episode. We are going to find out what's going on with this new road bump in the pathway towards winning our country back. The devil is relentless. The devil is afraid that a pastor will be taking reins as the new Premier of Alberta. The devil is afraid that we win our country back in dedication for the Lord. So, folks, tonight's Freedom Fighter Radio will be interactive. And you have to forgive me, folks. I try my best to prepare everything ahead of time. But situations kind of get in the way. So before we get started, let me just remind everybody that on Thursday, our special guest will be Reynold and Kathy Maines. He is the eldest son of David Maines, the pioneer of Christian television in Canada. And it is very timely that we are having Pastor Art tonight. And on Thursday, 2 days from now, I'll be able to ask Reynold and Kathy Maines, although they are living in Uganda with pioneering a new missions in Uganda. But he is very well known in the establishment evangelical world. So I'm going to ask him what are his thoughts that our country has arrested most pastor, fenced most church, burned a lot of churches, more than China, North Korea, and all of them combined. And we just had a perfect Freedom Roundtable last Sunday. The next one will be in 2 Sundays, April 16. Sorry. Yep, April 16. Mark your calendars. We are going to talk about food crisis in this particular episode. So without much further ado, I am your host, Ordinary Joe. This is Freedom Fighter Radio. Our special guest tonight is Pastor Art Pawlowski, the next premier of Alberta and Canada's pastor. Let's get this show started right now. Freedom Fighter Radio. What is up? Whoa!
Shout out to Freedom Fighter Radio. And Joe, you're doing great work, brother, and I love it. All right?
Always. Make sure you listen to the Freedom Fighter Radio on the Ordinary Show.
I'm on Freedom Fighter Radio on the Ordinary Joe Show. That's quite a mouthful.
Yes. Just because it's a seller's market, it does not mean that it's not a good time for you, the buyer, to get into your dream home. The seller's market presents a unique opportunity not available during the buyer's market. Find out for yourself. Get the professional advice of an experienced, honest, Christian freedom-loving real estate professional. Call my friend, our sister in the fight for freedom, Madam Cheryl Severance of Century 21 at 905-646-2121, or check out her website at cheryl-severance.c21.ca.
Fund the truth, fund the unacceptable fringe views of the Freedom Fighter Radio broadcast. Go to patreon.com/OJTV Canada and also donate $3 per month and help us keep going and pushing back against the lies, the hate, and the fear-mongering of the legacy media. Patreon.com/OJTV Canada. Your $3 per month will help us set fire on the lies of the tyrants, the technocrats, and the internationalist social engineers. Patreon.com/OJTV Canada.
Did you hear about the children's cough syrup shelves? They are mostly empty in the drugstores. Are you concerned? Do you feel the need to stockpile? As the world heads towards uncertainty, with every nation meeting its own challenges, Larks Medical are staged and ready to respond. Go to larksmedical.com. Provide them with your name, phone number, and email, and Larks will respond at their earliest possible availability to find solutions and ensure ample supply for your needs. Or email them directly at info@larksmedical.com. That's info@larksmedical.com.
I'm Pastor Artur from Calgary, the leader of the Independence Party of Alberta. You are listening to the Freedom Fighter Radio Worldwide podcast, only here on the Ordinary Joe Show.
Immediately out! Immediately go out and don't come back.
Welcome back, folks. This is Freedom Fighter Radio. Our special guest is Pastor Artur Pawlowski. On his birthday, on the 28th, he turned 50. And lo and behold, he got a sucker punch surprise from the board of the Alberta Independence Party that he was ousted undemocratically from his position as the leader of the party. 2 days later, I had scheduled one of the freedom fighters from Calgary, Alberta, Catherine Kovalchuk, who also co-founded Lawyers for Truth. And I told Pastor Art that I'd like to interview many of his candidates, like the way I did for Derek Sloan during our elections here in Ontario. And I was going to have Mike Anjusco, Bob Leon, his son Nathaniel, and I was going to start with Catherine Kovalchuk. And 2 days prior to Catherine's guesting, this thing happened that they coup d'etat against the leader of the party, Pastor Art. And then when I was guesting Catherine, I was totally expecting that she will stand with Pastor Art. To my surprise, to my shock, she is actually on the opposite side. So I have her video because I don't want to misquote her. Some of the things that she, well, pretty much accused Pastor Art of. They're both my friends during the race for the leadership. I didn't weigh in because I want to keep friendship in both. Um, and just like the truckers convoy, when there's a rip in the community, in the movement, I felt like I don't want to add to the division, but sometimes we have to take a stand on something. So without much further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Canada's pastor, the next premier of Alberta, Pastor Artur Pawlowski. Hello, Pastor Art Pawlowski. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Joe, for having me again on your show. It's always a pleasure. I have to just add a little bit. I think the music is upbeat. Put it this way.
Thank you. I try to hide my the fact that I'm low energy at times. You know, just every time I'm about to come to the show, especially if the show is very important, I get personal attacks from the devil myself, and I know this is just another personal attack on you. So I kind of mask my low energy with energetic music to make my audience think that, hey, I'm like, high energy. I just found out that we're about the same age, Pastor Art. I'm about to turn 50 myself before the end of the year, but I thought you're a lot older than me, I guess, because you're more mature and you're more passionate about the fight. When I grow up, I want to be like you. Pastor Art, tell us, I have some clips. I was preparing clips. Usually I cut little clips that I can play for my guests so that you can react on certain clips. But I find that there's so many clips and I run out of time today that I want you to respond to some of Catherine's what she was saying, but I ran out of time, but I only was able to do one, and we can go to some of the rest of them. I took the entire video. Just stand by here because I'll try to come from memory, but I don't want to misquote Catherine as well. Let me play the first to set the tone. Let me play her first video here and what she said on the show. So I feel like it's not fair that she was saying all of this and I'm not. This Saturday, is it a referendum to fire? This is the problem with StreamYard. It queues on its own. I felt that it's unfair that she was able to say some of this accusation, but when you were not here, so I want to make sure that you can address many of these things tonight. Like I said, I don't want to add into the rift in the movement or the division, but I stand with the Lions. So let's listen to this. What is the status of the Alberta Independence Party now? And I heard of something that's going to happen this Saturday. Is it a referendum to fire certain board members who fired Pastor Art? I know that the claim was the Alberta Independence Party was a very small party before you and many of those who are freedom fighters got on board with the party. This party is only in the size of hundreds of members, but now you are in the thousands, and that is because we believe that people were attracted to freedom fighters such as you and Pastor Art and Bob Leon, who you introduced me to. What is the status of the party? What's going to happen from this point forward? Are you going to stay with the party? Are you going to be independent as well? What is the current temperature there at the Independence Party of Alberta?
Well, certainly, you're correct. The board did decide to revoke Archer's membership. It was done for a myriad of reasons. I completely disagree with the post that Pastor Art put out on Twitter. I did read that. It was not spearheaded by some sort of transgender motivation or conspiracy theory. That is a lie. And I have to say that because I know, and I'm not going to pretend that that's not true.
As you can see, I was shocked and I didn't know. I kind of lost my bearing there because I was totally expecting that she will be defending you, and then I feel like, oh, okay. I didn't realize that she is standing on the opposite side. I want to give her a benefit of the doubt that she sounded the entire conversation. She sounded like she's repeating whispers in her ear. I hope that she was influenced negatively, but we can win her back. I don't know the situation. I'm not from Alberta, but the floor is yours, Pastor Art. What is going on with the Independence Party of Alberta?
Well, let's just start. Since you started with Kowalczak, well, let's talk about it. Here is how the story unfolded. I have been in the middle of politics, if you will, all my life. I mean, from growing up in Poland, Greece, and then Canada, I have always been around politicians, ministers, and including many meetings with prime minister before. So cabinet ministers, I was in parliament, I had been invited to all kinds of different meetings. And so I always wanted to be influencing the country from a little bit from outside. I wanted to counsel them. I was asked many times to come and pray at different meetings. So that's what I wanted to do. However, since 2005, as you remember, I was charged over 340 times, over 100 court cases, 16 arrests. And the last one, when they put me illegally in a solitary confinement, metal cages, when I was dragged from my solitary cell to a concrete without water and washroom, when I was kidnapped by sheriffs, taken hundreds of miles away without the knowledge of my lawyers or my family, when they denied access to my legal counsel for 3 weeks, when they confiscated my Bible and my write-ups for the eyes of the lawyers only, when they locked me in MaxPot for the most dangerous terrorists in the country, and then later on, when they put me in psych ward without the evaluation of the doctors, without even the knowledge of AHS, which was completely illegal. That's what you do in Soviet Russia, in North Korea, in China with political dissidents. I realized I have to engage political realm, not from outside, but from inside. And I remember my prayer. I said, fine, God, if they will not allow me to be just a pastor, I will become a pastor politician. And what was chasing me yesterday, I'll be chasing tomorrow. So that was the prayer I had. But you know how it is. Life gets busy. I got released from prison and facing, criminal charges for my sermon in Quds. Just life went on. I started to do lots of shows. I'm finishing a book, and then behold, Bob Leon, Katrin Kowalczak, and Vicky Bayford, they came to my home asking if I would consider running for the political party, for the leadership of the Independence Party of Alberta. And telling you the truth, I immediately said, no way. What it says here, stupid. I am not interested in running for any of that stuff. However, God reminded me of that prayer in the solitary cell. So then I remembered them when we did the rallies, 15, 20,000 people on the streets of Calgary. And I remember there was this table with green colors. I didn't really pay too much attention to them at that time. And I remember that, I think there was some kind of a party over there. And anyway, I brought it to my church, I brought it to my family, and finally God reminded me of that prayer. And I said, yes, I will run. During the debate, however, here is the shocker that shows the character of Kowalczak, which is very disturbing. She started to talk like CBC reporter, like Crown prosecutor that accused me of causing Canadian economy over $400 million worth of damages. And as you know, during my speech to the truckers, I said 3 times, this is a peaceful uprising. This is no guns, no swords. This is civil rights movement style, solidarity style. This is our Alamo, but we are not willing to kill. We are willing to die for what we believe in. That was the rhetorics. Crown prosecutor said I was inciting people to commit acts of violence. And here, think about it. I am on house arrest. I can go back to prison. I'm facing 10 and a half years of imprisonment. And Kowalczyk, during the debates, she says, we don't want a leader that is inciting people to acts of violence. We don't want a leader that, advocates to hurt other human beings. I was absolutely shocked. And of course, we had a conversation with her. What are you doing? Like, first of all, it's a lie. Secondly, you're repeating the media, the pathological propaganda for Justin Trudeau, and it's not true. You're just lying now to the people. You are repeating the lies to the public, which is unacceptable. Anyway, she asked for forgiveness, and we kind of move on. And I won the leadership. She was very bitter. She was so bitter when she lost the leadership that she didn't want to talk to us, and she left the party. So that tells you the character of that individual. She completely goes away. She lost. She was bitter. She was angry that she lost. And then she says, I'm going to run independent. I don't want to have anything to do, with this. When I joined the party only had about few hundred members. The moment I joined, you can see on a graph, it went to thousands. Literally overnight, it went to thousands because people like what I say. I am not your typical politician. I am not flip-flopping politician. I'm not schizophrenic like they are, one hot on Monday and another one on Sunday. I don't go as the wind goes. I have my moral convictions. I had them for past 150 years, if you will, and I'm not apologizing for them. I'm willing to speak openly to anyone. I don't care how many cameras are rolling. If I have the answer, and the same to you, Joe, you don't have to worry about asking me anything you want. You can just shoot it straight. If I know the answer, I'm going to give it to you if I can. So anyway, fast forward, the party grew to over 3,000 members within a few months. Everywhere we went, we started to organize meetings with people. We invited guests like Paul Alexander, the famous doctor that was advisor to Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, a highly an expert. We have a pathologist with us that traveled with us, Roger Hodgkinson, and an amazing man, an expert again in that field. We have also a cancer expert, our own domestic hero here, William Wallace, as I call him, Dr. William Mackis. He is the one that is exposing the sudden deaths after the clot shot. So we had a number of different people, and people loved it. Well, listen, I just finished a tour, so that tells you everything, how popular we were. I just finished a tour going around Alberta. This will be my third tour, I guess, since I joined the party, that we would travel around and just have meetings with people, with Albertans at the town halls. So Grand Prairie, hundreds of people came to listen to us. Medicine Hat, which is Danielle Smith, the premier's own riding, we had 600 people showing up, 600 people that came to listen to us speak. High River, packed house. Calgary, another meeting we had. Camrose, packed, only, standing room only. We had Edmonton, which is Rachel's Notley's, that witches riding, and we had filled completely. So that tells you that what we had to say to the people resonated with the people. Everywhere I showed up, people would come to me and thank me for standing for God, for preaching, for not being ashamed of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for telling the truth. What resonated with the people is that I am not like your typical politician, that I am actually saying what's in my heart without political correctness, without shackles, without muzzle. Here it is, the truth, black and white. And you can make your own choice. So I think here is what happened, Joe. We grew too fast, too big, and we were simply too popular. And because of that, someone somewhere said, kill it. You got to remember also for your listeners that that's exactly what happened a few months before with Wild Rose 2.0 and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman had 20%. He was extremely popular. His town halls were full as well. And someone somewhere said, kill it. And they used the board, not the people. People loved Paul Heyman. People loved what he was offering, and the board kill it. The board, only few people destroyed the party. Now it was the tip. I knew that this might happen. So what I was trying to do, I was trying to bring on our board friendly freedom fighters, real freedom fighters, not operatives, but people that I knew, I trust, that marched with us for the past 3 years. Because telling you the truth, I don't know who those people are. And again, you got to understand, Joe, when I was elected democratically by majority of votes to be the leader of the Independence Party of Alberta, I did not know who those people on the board were because I inherited them. They were already there. They were voted for. And I just came in on the board meeting those people. There was a transgender over there. But the truth is, in politics, Joe, it's democracy. It's not theocracy. So everyone has a right to believe the way they believe. So we had atheists, we had Christians, we had transgender, and not once I was attacking those people and their choices. I disagree with people's choices. From time to time, I will be vocal. For example, I work with drug addicts, I work with prostitutes, I work with alcoholics. I disagree with their life choices, their lifestyle, because it's killing them, it's destroying their families. Homelessness and violence, I disagree with all of that. Grooming of the children, pedophilia, homosexuality, transgenderism. Personally, I disagree with those things, but people have a freedom in democracy to choose their own path. And that's how I was looking at the board. You're free to choose your path, but I am free to choose my part. Before I said yes, and that's very important, Joe, before I agreed to run, we had a meeting with the party, and I've told them in front of witnesses that I will never stop being a pastor. I will preach wherever I go. I will not stop preaching, and I will always be a pastor. And when elected, I'll still keep my church. I will still feed the people. I will still preach every weekend, and then I will serve the people as a politician. So they agreed, and they told me, you will never be muzzled. I said, the moment you muzzle me, I'm out of here. And then they were perfectly fine with that. So here's what I think happened. I think they wanted just to use my fame. They wanted to use to build a party. They wanted to use a man that was very well known. I was called the Freedom Pastor, Canada's pastor. My videos reached millions of views. My Get Out video was watched over 1 billion times. So they just wanted to use that. However, let's just fast forward the whole story. In the past, about 2 months ago, me and Bob Leon, we were receiving emails, texts, and conversations from the board. And by the way, I have those just in case if we ever end up in a court, because we are thinking of suing those people for what they have done, because what they did was completely illegal. Against the rules. What they did, they bypassed democracy. They have become tyrants themselves. And it's very fascinating to watch this unfolding, because the very thing that they say they are against, they have become the beast we were fighting. They have become the very beast that we were telling people that we are fighting against. So in the emails, in the text, the president Duggan, and I have the list of those people, so I'll just go through them so people understand what really took place. Let me find it. So you've got the Dan Duggan. Here's, I don't know if you can see it.
It went to the okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I posted this.
Okay, so those are the villains. Don sent us a letter multiple times telling us that we do not want you to talk about WEF, do not talk about World Health Organization. We don't want you to talk about the clot shots, the jobs. We don't want you to talk about the lockdowns. We do not want you to talk about Notley, the NDP. We do not want you to talk about the UCP government, Daniel Smith. We don't want you to talk about all those different things that, Joe, are actually important to the people that we are representing. And here is how democracy should work. And of course, it's upside down. We are living behind the Iron Curtain in China, and not in a free and democratic society, but this is how it's supposed to work. You do not represent the party. You do not represent the party colors. You do not represent the party policies. You represent the people that elected you. That's how it's supposed to be. In other words, you are supposed to represent the community that elected you so you can represent them. However, Dan constantly was attacking us that the board doesn't want us to talk about this. Then there is another fella that started to attack us, and I had multiple conversations with him. His name is Ty Northcott. Ty Northcott, he is an atheist. He does not believe in God. And multiple times he was attacking me personally and Bob, telling us, I don't want you to talk about God. Do not talk about God. We don't want you to talk about God. Well, listen, you're talking to a pastor that said from the very beginning that I'll prefer to die than not to talk about God. I didn't join this party so I can exchange one slave master with another slave master. But then I got attacked by Vicky Bayford. Vicky Bayford was the leader before me. Before me. And she is a pro-choice. She is pro-abortion passionately. And a number of people from our communities wanted to bring a policy into this AGM that we just had last week about abortion, because this party doesn't have any stand on abortion. So I said to those people that contacted me, I said, well, this is your perfect opportunity. It's your party, it's your voice. So let's forward this policy to the party and let the people vote. I mean, in the end of the day, you got to remember, Joe, I joined this party because I wanted the people to have back their voice. I want a referendum on key issues every year, not just once every 100 years, but every year there should be a referendum on key issues. In other words, give voice back to the people that elected you to represent them. Now we have a system that only a handful of people are making a decision for millions, literally. And we pay the consequences of that. Well, Vicky would not have any of it. She forbid it. No way. I don't want this to be on a policy. And pretty much she killed it. Also, what happened, Joe, which was very disturbing, during the AGM, people have a right to elect the board. They can choose who they want on the provincial board. And here is what happened. Dan Duggan frees this person here, the second from the top. And there was Ty Northcott, if I remember correctly, Shannon Packham. Shannon Packham, I believe she is an NDPer implanted into this party to kill it, to destroy. She's a teacher. She's very lefty. She's very, on the other side of the spectrum. Anyway, those people, here is what happened. And I have the proof, just in case we end up in a court. I have all the backing of what I'm actually saying, including Kowalczyk lying about me in written statements. She sent emails to different people, literally lying about me and about the situation that took place, trying to sink the party from the very beginning. But going back to this few people on a committee that were supposed to go and ask questions to potential board members for the AGM. So a number of people applied to run for the board position. And that's where the AGM, during that time, people vote for the board. And you know what happened? They screened everyone. everyone that was coming from our end. And
I just heard, yeah.
and here is the questions they were asking them. Are you a Christian? What is your stand on this? What is your stand on that? If comes to Christianity, if comes to this, if
Wow.
comes to that. Dan was asking a number of people, will you be able to vote against the leader, Artur Pawlowski? Would you be voting against him or for him? What kind of questions are
Cannot
those?
ask those.
Right? Off the script completely. And here is the thing. When those people contacted me and sent me what the questions were, that's concerning, because your religion should not be not on the table when you're being screened. If you love your country, if you love your province, the questions should be: do you have manager skills? Are you
Yes.
a hardworking person? Do you love this province? Are you willing to do what's right? Those kind of things. Not about your sexual preferences, not about your religion. All of those things are not proper during the screening time. So I brought that before the entire board, and I said there is an allegation that you people have breached the protocol. You've asked and not proper questions, and you went off the script. People are accusing you of being biased. And by the way, every person that was coming from us was tossed out, was cut out. Everyone that they brought passed their test. You know what I mean? So think about it. Bob Leon and Tina Bleon, those are the most hardworking people I've ever met in the political realm. They are like horses plowing. For 3 years, they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, their own money, to fight for this province of ours. And he was kicked out. Can you believe it? A man that was doing the most job, he was not allowed to be on the board. Also,
Did they give any explanation, Pastor, why Bob was kicked out?
yeah, they said we don't want family members anymore. So it doesn't matter what the people want. Is just a few selected individuals are now deciding who can be on the board, who cannot be on the board. If you're too close to someone, you cannot. If you like that person more, you cannot be. If you're part of that person's friends list, you cannot be. I mean, it's insanity.
It's like high school, campus election.
Well, it's dictatorship. That's what it is. It's a tyranny, and the tyranny that we are fighting against. And now it happened in our party. So what I did, I brought a motion to the board, and I said, now the whole board should be able to evaluate every candidate that came, because the whole board should know what those people are standing for, who those people are. And you know what they did? They voted me down. They said no. They accused those individuals of lying. They called them liars. And I said, well, I think if we're not dictators, we should allow those people to have a say. Let's bring them to the board. One particular individual was waiting to come on the board. His name is Nick. I said, let's bring Nick to the board. Let him at least be able to defend himself. Let him say his side of the story, because now he is accusing you of lying. You are accusing him of lying. The whole board should see by themselves, for themselves, the truth. Let the man defend himself. You're accusing him of a liar, of lying. Let him defend himself. And they said no. They said absolutely no. They accused the man, they slandered the man, and they did not allow that man to tell his side of the story. That's what we're dealing with. And Kowalczak accused a good man of doing horrible things. She accused me of doing horrible things. She is a liar. She is a manipulator. That's what she is. And later on, I didn't know that at that time, it turned out she worked for the Liberal Party. She actually campaigned for Justin Trudeau. Shocker? And not really, because this party has been infiltrated by NDPers, UCPers, and the Liberals. Catherine Kowalczak is a Liberal that worked for the Liberal Party of Canada. And I guess you can take the party, you can get a person out of the party, but you cannot take the party out of the person, I guess. So she's a very liberal individual. She hated my statements on God, on abortion and homosexuality, transgenderism, and the grooming. And then again, this person said to us, and again, everything I'm saying, I have documents, I got letters, I got conversations. So this person, Freeze, he said that we do not want the party to be associated with this grooming situation. And it was very interesting because when Derek Reimer, pastor in Calgary, was assaulted, arrested for exposing pedophilia and grooming of the children by the transgender and homosexual industry. Well, he faced multiple charges. And then this evil woman, the tyrant, or like Derek Reimer's calling her, the witch from the West, Gondek, Judy Gondek.
Is that the mayor?
She's the mayor now that I believe stole the election, because we have the proof also that was rigged. I mean, think about it. From a person that no one knew about it, apparently she won every riding with majority. I mean, it doesn't happen to the best of the best, but it happened to her because no one knew her before the election, and suddenly she is the most famous mayor in the country. Like, we know what's going on, and of course they use the Dominion machine, the voting machine, so that tells you everything. Anyway, going fast forward, she passed a law prohibiting people from protesting in the city of Calgary. Can you believe it? This little tyrant. So the little tyrant, Gondek, that believes she is the new pharaoh in the city of Calgary, she breaks the law. She implements illegal laws against the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and against the constitution of this country, and sends the police, her own private grooming Gestapo, I call them, the grooming Gestapo, because they're not protecting children anymore. They're protecting the groomers, the pedophiles, and arrested this man. So I did a press conference. I mean, no one else is willing to talk about this. The only person that actually I have found talking about this from outside of my inner circle is Maxime Bernier, and kudos to him. The PPC party, that's the only party right now that is willing to step up to the plate and protect our children, which is incredible if you think about it. So anyway, I decided to do a press conference, and we did that. We did a press conference from unknown party. We had only few people following us on the page. When we did the press conferences, it went to 7,000 followers. Our movies, the videos, the press conferences went into tens of thousands, 100,000 views. So that tells you the interest is there. People are looking for leadership regarding to those things. But of course, the board didn't like it because the board was rigged. The board was lefty, with a transgender, with atheist, with abortionist, with all those people that hate what is good, including Kowalczyk. Kowalczyk, the moment the board was attacking me, she was parroting them, talking to the members, chewing on people's ears. Yeah, Pawlowski's not good. Here is what I believe had happened. She waited for the opportunity to strike. She was bitter that she lost the election. She was unforgiving. She was, angry at the situation. The people, how dare they not to vote for the Queen Kowalczyk? Right now, all the women are the rulers in this country. So she wanted to be another ruler. And she decided to strike, and like a snake from the grass, not openly, not face to face, but like a snake. But I think the most shocking, outside of she hates me, she hates my God, she hates what I stand for, well, that's fine. You've got your rights to not believe what I believe. That's okay. That's democracy. I don't really care. It's up to you. You will face the living God. You one day will die just like the rest of us, and then you will give an account, not to me, but to the living God that created you for a purpose and a reason, hell or heaven. But let's put that aside. We did an event, and unfortunately, that snake, that poisonous snake, Kowalczyk was invited to come. I don't know who invited her, but she was invited, and she was on our stage, and she was campaigning for the UCP candidate, for another candidate, for another MLA. Can you believe it? We have a party meeting, and she is campaigning for another MLA, elected MLA, within the circle of the corruption that we're dealing right now. It was a shocker. Bob Leon could not believe it, that she would dare to campaign for another MLA from our stage. And of course, all of those things are videos. You can watch them. We have the proof, we have the documents, we have the letters, we have the videos. So that's what happened. I think personally, and when I talk to other politicians, they torpedoed the party because we were becoming a real and tangible threat. We were growing fast. We were highly popular. Our town halls, we had, think about it, Premier just had her meeting and she had 300 people. We had our meeting, we had 600 people showing up. That tells you everything. So what's now? Now the board, during the AGM, which with the board treated people like filthy rags. Don was yelling at people, telling them shut up, and you can watch the videos as well about this. Completely crazy, and to a point that those 9 devils, those wicked, evil operatives, I don't know, from Notley's UCP or liberal government, they ran away from the people. People were absolutely upset, and they ran and they hid themselves, locked the doors in a little room, and they passed all the things they wanted to pass. However, people voted during the AGM, and look at this. They voted all of them out, all of them. All the 9 traitors, Judas Iscariots, that killed this party, all of them were voted out. However, Vicky Bayford, that traitor, you know what she said? Immediately after the people voted her out, and rightfully so, because she sold them, she's a little tyrant with the rest of the board. You know what she said to someone? Oh, no, I'm not worried about it. This new board is going to vote us back in.
Wow.
There goes your democracy.
It's admitting the rigging of the election. That's an admittance.
Totally. And then I have other proof that the whole thing was rigged anyway. But they were voted out because of the overwhelming support against their decision. So every single villain, all 9 of them, was kicked out. And then the statements from Vicky was a shocker, because I really had a little bit of hope that maybe the new board is going to do the right thing. But obviously those people work together, and I wouldn't be surprised if very soon the new board is going to bring those old villains back into the place, just like we see in the UCP. I mean, Danielle Smith, think about it. Danielle Smith just did the same thing. She betrayed the people that voted her in. So Jason Kenney, that locked us like animals, murdered our children, elderly, he is tossed aside. People voted against him. She replaces him, Danielle Smith, by saying promises, by telling people, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do amnesty, I'm going to bring a bill, I'm going to bring a bill protecting the unvaccinated, blah, 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 Sovereignty Act. And of course, nothing happened. Including Sovereignty Act is just a piece of paper that she's not even using. So what happened was, immediately after our people voted her in, because people want to believe that what you say you're going to do. And that's what I was doing. I said what I'm going to do, and I kept doing what I said I'm going to do without going to the left and to the right. So now Danielle Smith brings back the same villains, copying Minister of Health under Kenney back into office, Travis Taves back into office, Casey Madhu back into office, Nixon back into office, Tyler Shandro back into office. All of the villains, and including the Sky Palace hypocrites, back into the office. So what are we talking about? We're talking about corruption at the highest levels. We're talking about a sinister plot of enslavement of the rest of the population. And that's exactly what this board did, and I guess it's planning to do as well. So anyway, this is in a nutshell, a history of how everything was unfolding. For months, we were being told not to talk about the things that were important to the people. And we said no one will muzzle us. We did not join this party so we can change one slave master with another. We are free people, and that's what we want. We want everyone to be free. Agree, Joe, to disagree. If you want to be a transgender, that's your right under democracy. If you want to be homosexual, that's your right. I'm not hunting you down. I'm not spewing hatred. I'm not protesting against what you do in your bed. That's your business. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. If you're a pervert, that's up to you. You can be a pervert in a free and democratic society, but leave our children away.
Amen.
Let the children be children. They don't need this perversion. They don't need this sexualization. Now I've heard that Canada is bringing lap dances for drag queens with children. Wow. Lap dances. I mean, those people are not stopping. And I said that. They are not stopping. They will not be stopping. But if you want to use drugs, that's up to you. You want to be an alcoholic, you're free to be an alcoholic if that's what you want. You want to be a thief, you're free to be a thief. You will be caught. Hopefully you will go to prison, but that's your right. You can break the law if you want to. There will be consequences. Just like with God, if you want to be a homosexual, that's your right. You can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be your judge, but one day you will face the consequences of your actions. So that's what they hated. They hated a man that is preaching the truth, is speaking freely, because what they wanted and what they want is they want politics according to their own ideology. They are telling us, you know what they did? You will be shocked. They said, we're going to hire someone that will be writing your speeches, what you can and what you cannot talk about.
Wow, that's like North Korea level. Pastor Art, don't go away, folks. We are right in the heat of this podcast, and we are about to cut off from social media. So, advice to all of our listeners: please find our Rumble link right now. Where is it? I just posted it. Come to our Rumble link. Is this the one? Oh, sorry. Because in about 5 minutes we're gonna cut off. There it is. Go to the comment section, find a Rumble link, because we are going deeper into this conversation. Don't go away. We'll be right back very, very shortly. Hold that thought, Pastor Art. Let's just take a short break.
Imagine that the power grid was totally wiped by an EMP weapon of an enemy state. Your stress level will go to the roof. Your patience will be tried. You will have to think about both your own and your complaining children's survival. If you don't survive, your children won't when they are left on their own. Teach your children how to have the mentality of being survivors through a fun, children-friendly guided outdoor adventures with basic survivor mindfulness integrated in the fun outing activity. Call my friends Ornell and Victoria, who are experienced survivors. Call them at 905-252-8009 or email them at northernpacificcottages@gmail.com. Canadians all across the country are sick and tired of the lies, the fear-mongering, and the hate speech they hear from the mainstream media. Download the free radio app, Freedom Fighter Radio. Click the link below, scan our QR code, join our mailing list, and get a free download of our Freedom Fighter Radio app, only here on OJTV on The Ordinary Joe Show.
Alberta Independence Party now.
Hello, friends. I am Derek Sloan, the leader of the Ontario Party. You are listening to the Freedom Fighter Radio Canada podcast, only here on The Ordinary Joe Show.
It's Freedom Fighter Radio. Our special guest tonight is Pastor Artur Pawlowski, the next Premier of Alberta and Canada's pastor. I'm your host, Ordinary Joe. It is very unfortunate that people who are a handful of people in the board of the Alberta Independence Party were very jealous of the rise and the momentum that Pastor Art and friends have brought into the party, and now they're trying to hijack the momentum and take it for themselves. There's a follow-up question that I'll be asking Pastor Art here. I took some notes. We're actually just scratching the surface, Pastor Art. I have Catherine. I prefer to play Catherine's video so that I don't misquote her and do not be accused of misrepresenting. But I'm just coming out of memory right now because I couldn't find the actual cue. So I put a note here. I will be as accurate as possible. Catherine said, "Nobody asked Pastor Art." And Catherine, if you're listening, I'm doing my best out of memory. I'm not trying to misquote you, but I remember you said on the show, nobody asked Pastor Art to not speak about the Bible, not speak about the WEF, not speak about the transgender movement. And you were saying on my show that the 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 only thing that Bordy was asking is that he also include the platform of the party. And I tried to ask Catherine, what is the platform of the party? And she was saying that, Pastor Art was not speaking about independence and the referendum. And I told Catherine, I had Pastor Art twice on the show since he became leader. He spoke about referendum on my show on both times. And I think there might be just the way you think of the referendum. I feel like Pastor Art wants to use it as a leverage, but I think, are you saying that you want to definitely be a separatist and break away from Canada? And after you do that, then you will have the leverage. So I think those were the two difference. So the first question, Pastor Art, she was saying that nobody asking Pastor Art not to speak about God, not to speak about against the WEF or the transgender. She was saying, but in your speeches, please add the platform of the party. And while I have you on, she was also accusing you and Bob Leon of banning Dr. Nagase from speaking. And she said that that is not the purview, that is the purview of the board. So I don't think I agree with that premise, but that's what she was saying. What are your responses to those things she said about you?
Well, it's three questions. So let's start with the first one. Well, she's lying. And again, she is a liar. She lied during the debates. She's continuing to lie because I've told you at the very beginning, we have letters from the board. So they can't hide that. They can say whatever they want, but we have the letters from those people. We got letters from the transgender person. We have letters from the president, which clearly are stating that we don't want to talk about this and 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 this. So we have that, and I'll be extremely happy if we end up in court, so I can actually bring forth all of those different conversations and recordings of what was said. Anyway, that's the first one. Well, she's a liar because she just waited for an opportunity like a snake to bite. So behold of Katrin Kowalczyk, because you're next. Those types of traitors, they gain access to you, they gain access to the organizations, and then boom, you're dead and you don't know what happened. You don't even know what you did against those people. They're operatives. That's how they work. Anyway, so I got the proof. I'll gladly share it with you, Joe, of course, privately, because we don't know if we're heading for the courts or not, but we have those documents, we have those recordings. That's the first one. Second, if it comes to party platforms, I don't know if you had an opportunity to listen to my speaking tours and my meetings, town halls with the people. Everywhere I went, I was always forwarding my passion. It's not the Independence Party of Alberta passion. I was talking about referendum 20 years ago, way before those people even had an idea of coming and doing anything political. I even created a Facebook page. We must have referendum. So referendum is a dear thing to me because I always believed that only few people should never represent the masses, that issues should be always given back to the people. So if they make a wrong choice, well, then they will make a wrong choice, and that's on the people, not just a few selected, because they're not even elected; they're selected tyrants. So also, I was talking about electing sheriffs all the time, and even today on your show, I was talking about referendum because I can't help it. It's just too inside of me. I want to give back people's voice. The party should be for the people, by the people, and it should be all about the wishes of the people. So also, if it comes to policies, I was always talking about our own police force. I was talking about currency backed by gold. I was talking about educational system quite often, that we need more homeschooling, parental rights. I talked about that at our stages. You can listen to what I talked about, because everything, you see, here is the interesting part, Joe. My speaking was always live. You could listen to me live. I had nothing to hide. I was transparent. I was in your face, if you will, and I'm not ashamed of what I was saying. But now, AGM, the same people that are accusing me of all kinds of things, they forbidden people to have live streamings. They did not record what was said. Right? It tells you everything. If you have nothing to hide, well, come on the show or let it
live. Yeah.
let it roll. Right? I have nothing to hide. I'm willing to, just like I said to you and to the report as well, fire at will. Ask me a question. You don't have to prepare me for the question. If I know the answer, I'll give it to you, because that's just me. That's me. That's my nature. I want to tell the truth, give it to you raw. You may not like what I have to say, but at least you will get an answer from a man. When you ask a politician or operatives, they're jumping around a circle and you never get a straight answer. So I was talking about creating anti-corruption force. I was talking about Nuremberg #2, going after the villains for what they have done. The key villains should be charged with treason. They should be charged with crimes against humanity. I was talking about that on a regular basis. I was talking about electing judges and sheriffs, electing police officers, chief of police, because right now, judges are appointed by the politicians. The chief of police are appointed by the politicians. The politicians don't work for the people anymore. The police does not work for the people anymore. They work for the politicians that do not work for the people. The judges do not listen to the law and order.